Um, Welcome to another action-packed, exciting hour of the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Rewatch Along Project. This is podcasting the way it used to be and the way you like it. This show is a production of the Something Else Podcasting Network, and it is episode number 119 of Something Else from May 7th, 1994, taped April 4th, 1994, at the Anderson County High School in Clinton, Tennessee. My name is Arya, and joining me, as always, is, hmm, I don't know, the nails to my board. It's Trae. Trae, how the hell you doing today?
At least you didn't say that I was the nails to your Vince McMahon.
I would appreciate that you did not leap across the table and start choking me.
No, I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm very calm. I had my right hand man Astro Peach right here on my table, keeping me calm, so I'm not gonna jump over it.
And do you promise, even if like I draw several $1 million and give you $2,000 as a paycheck, would that still be okay with you?
I mean, I don't know. We have a gentle people's agreement that if one of us ever, strikes it rich, we'll hire the other one to watch wrestling full time. And I think 2000 a week would be pretty reasonable.
Well, 2000 was for, you know, the highest drawing WWE show of all time until 2016, at least as a live gate, or not a live gate, but a live attendance.
So you're telling me I have to review SummerSlam 92 every week?
I think you would enjoy that, you know?
I
Here's
have
Trace.
never, I have still
Here,
never, I have seen the main event. I have never seen the whole show.
so you've seen Randy Savage versus the Ultimate Warrior.
I saw the last match,
Okay. Okay.
and I will
Um,
argue that that was the main event on that show.
it was not the main event. The main event was the was Savage versus Warrior. It was the most promoted match on the show. Yes. Okay. This is where I imagine I'm going to get argued with when this book comes out of mine. And I will acquiesce that uh to the live audience, Brett versus Bulldog was the main event. However, to the worldwide pay-per-view audience, the number one promoted match was Savage versus Warrior.
I'm not going to argue with you because I think that's a fair assessment.
Um, so by the way,
So,
we
okay.
have a video feed now, kind of.
Oh, tell me,
Uh, yes,
tell me
if
about
you're one of
this.
those people who like to say to me, man, it sucks you don't include the video with this. You should include the video with this. Well, motherfucker, go to dailymotion.com/ something else podcast network, and we're testing this shit out. As first reported on my YouTube page this morning as we're recording this, uh, we're we're trying this out. We're seeing if it takes off. Um, there you're going to see right now the TNA 1 cent pay-per-view, where I went into the Wayback Machine and I found all the clips of Cindy and I talking about each match, and I put it to the video. You know, it's a two parts because Daily Motion has let you put up more than 2 hours, and when I put everything together, it was like a 3 hour video. So what you get is you get Cindy and I talking about the match, then you get the match, then you get Cindy and I talking more, then you get whatever's next, etc., etc. And if you like it, watch it, like it, subscribe, share it, and I will do this more. If I get 10 views, it's too much of a pain in the ass to get 10 views. Just saying. You know, in
Yeah.
case you're curious, it is so much easier to just take the audio and video files from these shows that I download off Zoom and throw them up onto YouTube. That is really fucking easy. Just saying.
So at
Uh,
some point, are we gonna have to come up with a better visual than a Bitmoji of me looking at my phone in the toilet?
no,
Okay.
you know? All right. So I do have some news. So we were talking about Glub and talking about how his career does not last long. And I'm not saying his career would have taken off. I'm not saying he would have had a 15, 20-year career if this didn't happen. But apparently there's a reason he stops wrestling very soon. And that reason is that apparently he got ran over by a Domino's delivery car.
Oh no. That's
Yeah.
oh, I wanted to come up with a pun, but I can't remember what Domino's slogan is. We'll forget Trey's fucking marinara sauce.
That's a weird slogan, especially for a national company like that.
Yeah,
But
I know, but they're all very dedicated to it.
anyway, this show is sponsored by Drag Kings. Right now, if you give $1 to your local drag performer, they'll get $1. Drag Kings, an official sponsor of something else.
I've heard of drag queens. I didn't know it went both ways.
Yeah, drag kings are typically cisgender females being male performers.
Okay, this sounds very entertaining.
Yes, it can be. Um, but I gotta give Cindy credit for that one because I forget what the hell we were talking about, but I said something about how, oh, I could plug DraftKings during the show. And she's like, I'd rather be sponsored by Drag Kings. I'm like, okay then.
I feel like I never get invited to cool shit like drag shows because if you just based on it on like the way I look and the way I sound, I sound like I've committed a hate crime or two.
I don't want to tell you what to do, Trey, but you don't have to wait to be invited. If there's just a drag show in your area, you can just go. I promise.
Well,
They'll let you in as long as you pay the cover.
is there somewhere that has like, where the local drag shows are?
I am
Like, can I?
positive if you look up gay nightclubs in Houston, you'll find one that has a drag show. In fact, possibly more than one. In fact, I'm sure of it
Hmm.
because I live in a city that is not, anywhere near as big as Houston, and there are typically multiple drag shows a month around here.
So it's not like with vampires, like I don't have to be invited in by a queer person.
After you're there once or twice, they'll learn to love you and, invite you even though you don't have to be invited.
Okay, well, that's exciting.
And also just remember that all drag queens are about 7.5 feet tall, and that's without heels. And I don't know why all drag performers are all 7.5 feet tall, but like I always have to crane my neck when talking to them.
Uh, Fucking firefighters and linebackers and mill workers, yeah.
Yeah. Um, if you're 7 feet tall, you're either a basketball player, a pro wrestler, or a drag queen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fair.
You only have three choices for a career, ladies and gentlemen. Um, seriously, like where do you see a 7 foot tall person outside of uh pro basketball or pro wrestling
You know where you don't see them?
in Smoky Mountain Wrestling?
In a classroom, because you can't teach that.
Well, you can't teach becoming 7 feet tall. I know I said this before, but Enzo Amore was such a shitty friend. He'd call himself a certified G and a bona fide stud, and the nicest thing he could say about his best friend was he's 7 feet tall.
I believe that if it was something you couldn't teach, there wouldn't be a certification for it.
Much like Tom Pritchard's doctorate, I want to see Enzo's certificate. Wow.
Oh,
I
I,
I swear I know how to speak.
Okay, so Dr. Wagner obviously has a doctorate. Does Dr. Wagner Jr. have a doctorate?
Unless Doctor is his first name.
Maybe. Of course, Eho del Dr. Wagner Jr. is good to go because he's just saying he's the son of Dr. Wagner Jr.
Oh yeah, you know, no shame on that one there.
Yeah.
Um, did you see? Well, about an hour or so ago, before we started recording this, it got reported that the probable location for WrestleMania 43 is Saudi Arabia. Now,
Worst bit of news I read all day.
yeah, there's been some good news today, but that one,
This this was a
uh, I'll
this
be
was a
honest,
great
like,
day for people who love irony and justice.
so before we get crucified by our listener for that one, um, so WrestleMania 43 in Saudi Arabia, let's be honest, we all knew it was coming. Maybe not WrestleMania 43, but we all knew WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia was coming at some point. Um, I think it's on the surface, it's a bad idea for your fandom. Obviously, Saudi Arabia is paying out the ass. Like, I guarantee they're paying a shit ton of money to get WrestleMania. You know, it is it they could fucking sell tickets for or give tickets away and probably do a bigger gate than they would if they had it over here because Saudi Arabia is probably paying that much money for it. I get that. However, I think it's a bad idea doing that, knowing that Saudi Arabia is not a place that is a tourist market. You know, there's not going to be 20,000 people flying in from all around the world to go to Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania. Um, that's just the thing. And I forget if I said it on this show, but I know I said it over on the site formerly known as Angry Marks when I do that show what I think they should do. And keep in mind, WWE has not announced this. Was first reported by PW Insider earlier today. WWE has not announced this. However, what I think they should do is basically WrestleMania to it. Do a split show where one day is in Saudi Arabia and one day is in the US. And you could actually do with the time changes, you could do it on the same day and like have the Saudi Arabia show being from 1 o'clock Eastern or noon Eastern until 4 o'clock. You take your break, do your post show slash pre show, and go into that night in America from 7 o'clock on or whatever. I think, that would be a smarter idea, even if, you know, again, Saudi Arabia pumping out the big bucks. But like I said, I think they run the risk of alienating fans by doing that because it's one thing to do Royal Rumble. It's one thing to do, random B shows. It's another for WrestleMania because again, no matter what, Royal Rumble isn't doing a fly-in crowd, at least to that extent.
I feel like saying that WWE is gonna alienate its fans is like saying that Trump's base is finally gonna turn on them. They're not, because they're soulless, brainless, cultish idiots. They're not. It's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
See, I that's the thing. I think like, WWE fans, they'll put up with the high ticket prices. People will bitch and moan about it, but they'll still buy it despite the high prices. But I think this is going to be where the line is drawn. And speaking of the high
Nope.
ticket price,
They're
go ahead.
all they're all gonna be online going, look at this wonderful thing that WWE is doing, this progressive thing for the wonderful utopian kingdom of Saudi Arabia. That's what they're gonna do. I guarantee it.
Speaking of ticket prices, apparently Mark Shapiro of TKO was asked about that today, and he basically said that Vince should have been charging people more all along. And you can argue that he might have a point since, with these high ticket prices, they're still selling extremely well, but it's definitely going against the Vince mandate that you at least make the get in price affordable. You know.
I do not want to talk about this at all.
Okay. Well, you know what I do want to talk about, Trey?
Smoky Mountain Wrestling?
Yes. How'd you guess?
I had a feeling.
Man, it's a good thing we're here on the Smoky Mountain Rewatch Along project because if this was, Tuesday and you want to talk about Smoky Mountains, like, well, I'm sorry, but we have to wait till Thursday. But
Well, I mean, look, not necessarily. We talked about Mid South and World Class on Wednesday this week.
yes, but that's, an exception to the rule. Typically we talk about TNA, and by we, I mean Cindy and I.
There are no rules,
Uh,
Arya. Hurrah for anarchy.
what's an anarchist to do without organization? Uh, I like that I popped you on that one. Um, let's go to the intro with Bob and Les, who are going to discuss all the people in action this week, including Dirty White Boy and Dirty White Boy, too.
Welcome to another exciting action-packed hour of Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Professional wrestling the way it used to be and the way you like it. Hi, wrestling fans. I'm Bob Caudle along with Les Thatcher. And Les, it's going to be another great hour. We're going to see the Dirty White Boy in action, but that's just going to get us started.
Oh, that's right. We are going to see Dirty White Boy in action. He's ripped and ready and roaring to go after Jake the Snake Roberts. That's coming up in Knoxville. We'll be talking about that, but also we've got a video of the Thrillseekers.
Well, not only that, we're going to look at that video of them, but we're going to see them in action in a tag team match against Well Dunn.
That's exactly right, and that should be a barn burner because these four guys have been chafing at the bit to get at one another.
What about our Beat the Champ match?
Well, let's see who we got to go against Bruiser Bedlam here. We're going to reach down in the hat one more time.
Who's the lucky individual?
Lucky? Is that what you call it, Bob? Well, let's hope my name or your name is not on this thing. Chris Hamerick goes against Bruiser Bedlam and Beat the Champ.
All right, fans, it's going to be a great one. We're about ready. Let's go to the ring.
All right, so Dirty White Boy's in action today, Trey.
Boy, is he.
Yeah.
And
I mean, and Dirty White Boy is going to be here, as is our main event, which after a Thrillseekers video, which we'll get to, is sadly not a new Thrillseekers video.
I don't know. I don't know if it would have been worse or not than seeing this one again.
In my opinion, of the three Thrillseekers music videos, that's the best one.
Yeah, that's valid. That's valid.
It's like, because that was the one where they really got into the, okay, Lance is not the fun one, but we can work around it, and Jericho is corny. So, it was peak Thrillseekers.
It was, yeah. It just, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Whatever, for better and worse, that was peak for Thrillseekers.
Well, but apparently the Thrillseekers and Well Dunn have been chafing at the bit to wrestle each other. And so today the Thrillseekers are going to wrestle Timothy Well and Stephen Dunn. They are the team of Well Dunn. And then I got to say, Trey, I was disappointed. Last week, Bob Caudle on this show challenged Bruiser Bedlam to a match for the TV title and apparently went back on his word. Maybe the Smoky Mountain board stepped in here because poor Chris Hamerick was the lamb led to slaughter this week for the Beat the Champ.
I got a feeling that Bruiser Bedlam doesn't accept Confederate currency.
Pop.
Thank you.
We talked yesterday about apparently I laughed quietly. I had to make sure to laugh loudly on that one.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so White Boy versus the Dark Secret. Secret went for the left eye of White Boy since he still had the bandage on after 2 hours, 2 weeks. So White Boy went after his eye and won with a buck snort blaster. It's nice to see White Boy win a match that, doesn't go forever. Because, like I said, that was one of the things, especially early Smoky Mountain, where it's like he'd be doing an enhancement match and it'd go 7 minutes. Like, motherfucker, like, let's go.
As a 1 minute enhancement match, there's no faulting this. But I'm sure that they've said this before, but I caught it this time. They said the Dark Secret was from anyone's guess. I thought that was pretty good.
It's a cute locale. I don't know where the how the check gets sent out. I always liked the theory when stuff like that got brought up that like these wrestlers would have PO boxes that
Yeah.
they mail the checks to.
Didn't Watts do like a thing about that on Mid South one time and explain that is
Yeah,
if they can get the check cash, we don't question it. By the way,
yeah.
okay, besides like Hurricane Helms, is Tony Anthony like the shortest wrestler to use the chokeslam as a finish?
Honestly, is Shane Helms shorter than Dirty White Boy?
I don't. How old is Tony? How tall is Dirty White Boy? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I
He's not
imagine around
tall.
6. No, I imagine he's around 6 feet tall. Um, I mean Shane Helms, I've never met him. I don't know, but he was the tallest member of Three Count for whatever that's worth. And
Okay,
Shannon Moore's like 5'6", 5'7".
according to the all-knowing Wikipedia, Tony Anthony is 5'10", and Gregory Helms is 6 foot. Oh wow, you're right.
Okay. Things you never thought you'd ever ask. Who is
Yeah.
taller? Actually,
That's it.
How tall was Paul Laria in ECW? I think he used the choke slam, even though I don't think he ever won a match, so I don't know if that really counts as a finisher.
Nah, it doesn't count if your finisher is looking up at the lights.
To be fair, did the Hurricane ever win a match with the choke slam?
He won the
I
cruiserweight
like
title with the choke slam on Tajiri.
Did he? Was it?
Yeah,
I mean, I always remember him using the Shining Wizard even as the Hurricane, but
before
I guess.
this was before that.
I mean, I remember the Hurricane as cruiserweight champion because that's how they debuted Jamie Noble, when Nydia was leaving
Yeah,
him notes about uh, I think
yeah,
they were love notes or whatever. I don't remember, but yeah.
yes. So this was the period that I have often talked about where I was in high school and I went out with a girl for a few months longer than I really wanted to because I could go over to her house to watch SmackDown. So yeah, it was I think it was a three-way with the Hurricane and Tajiri and Kidman, and Hurricane beat Tajiri with a chokeslam.
I think you're right. I think you're right. And hey, if there's at least a SmackDown that you're going to be sticking around for, the SmackDown 6 era is a pretty good era to be sticking with a girl just to see.
Yeah, no regrets.
Yep. Let's go to Bob Caudle, who's with the Dirty White Boy.
As the Dirty White Boy, and I see and I know that every day you're still carrying with you the reminder of what Daryl Van Horn and Kendo the Samurai did to you. Well, Daryl Van Horn, take a good look. You thought the White Boy would tuck tail and leave town and leave this behind. Not a chance of that ever happening, big boy, because as you can see just what I did to the dark secret, he ain't a secret anymore. I beat his stinking brains out, and as far as that Jap you got running around with you, I plan on taking him out. But my main concern, help me with the date here, is it May the 20th. May the 20th at the Knoxville Civic Coliseum, Volunteer Slam, Jake the Snake Roberts. You want a shot at the title? You want a shot at the man sitting on top of the hill looking down at all the rest? Well, Jake, you are the nastiest, meanest, raunchiest person I have ever laid eyes on. The man carries snakes around with him. I don't like them. In East Tennessee, a snake comes up, we take a 12-gauge shotgun and blow its brains out. So Jake the Snake, Volunteer Slam, that's exactly what I'm going to do to you, tough guy. I'm going to treat you like a snake. And the way you take care of a snake, you chop its head off. I'll see you May the 20th. All right, fans, we'll be back. We got more action coming your way right after this.
Might be the nicest thing he's ever said about somebody. He's going to treat Jake like a snake. Like, that's how Jake would like to be treated.
So he actually called Kendo the Samurai a racial slur this week, and this still wasn't as problematic as the promo last week.
Yes. I'll be honest, the first time he said it, like I was like half paying attention and I wrote down that he called him a chap. I'm like, that's a wacky thing to call somebody. That is not what he called Kendo.
I was on the YouTubes the other day and I found like a World War II era Marine training video that was like it was called useful Jap phrases. And they never said the word They might have said Japanese in relation to the language. They did not say Japanese in relation to Japanese people one time.
Oh Lord, you gotta love it. I guess you gotta love it.
Yeah. But I did enjoy the Dirty White Boy saying that he would deal with Jake the Snake in the manner that rednecks deal with snakes.
Um, I also wrote that Coddle says samurai weird.
I didn't notice.
Samurai.
Oh,
Samurai.
oh, well, Bob.
All right. Well, we have some breaking news by like the weirdest looking man on television. And this proves, in my opinion, that you do not have to be good looking to be on television. You just have to have a suit. Let's go to Chip Kessler, who has some breaking news out of Johnson City, Tennessee.
Wrestling fans, Chip Kessler here at Freedom Hall in Johnson City, where, believe it or not, just moments ago, the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Tag Team title belts changed hands. Ricky and Robert, the Rock and Roll Express, losing tonight to the Suicide Blonde Chris Candido and his partner Primetime Brian Lee. Now, in fact, it all started earlier tonight in a special fans' choice match. The fans here at Freedom Hall actually got to vote to see the wrestlers they wanted to battle it out in the center of the ring. That happened to be Ricky Morton and Chris Candido. And right now, let's go to some of that action.
So breaking news there by Chip, our future lead announcer in about 1 year time. We have new Smoky Mountain Tag Team Champions.
Indeed, we do.
Yes, he is not an attractive man.
I don't know. I wasn't attracted to him, but I'm not attracted to most men.
I also like. I don't know. It's like it's weird having your lead announcer be called Chip. Like you're a grown ass adult man. That is not your name.
I mean,
Which is
people used to be like Chip used to be like a nickname for Charles, right?
I honestly don't know that for a fact. Um, it's kind of funny because, like I said, I used to say the same thing about Excalibur when AEW started. I'm like, okay, he's a great announcer. Take up the mask, give him a real name, and pretend it's not the same guy. Um, and well, I don't know. It's apparently not
Oh
holding
my
AEW
God.
back.
I think we
What?
might have just figured out the mystery. Excalibur is
Chip
Chip Kessler.
Kessler's. That might explain why JC doesn't go too hard at Excalibur.
I will say for the record, because I know a lot of people have that argument, a fucking wrestling announcer having a mask and having a wrestling name is fine.
I honestly, to me, like it's very gimmicky for your lead announcer. And I think at least at the start, I didn't really have a problem with it because JR was the lead announcer. It was just like, okay, here's a random gimmick as the color commentator. And I guess by the time Excalibur really became the lead commentator, it I don't know, he just got used to it. But at the same time, I was like, eh. But also at that time, that was when like the announcers were also Excalibur and Golden Boy. Like, okay, like,
Okay, Golden Boy was only on like one show, and yes, he was
well,
fucking terrible.
yes, but he was better than Marvez. Like,
I like Marvez a lot. Okay, the one
Alex
thing
Marvez is
that
a very
Marvez,
nice person,
okay,
but he was a very
Marvez
shitty.
Marvez earned his money on the first Double or Nothing. There's just a moment that they cut to the announcers, and Excalibur or Ross or whoever says something to introduce the next match, and Alex Marvez just says in the saddest voice, "Yeah, it's Cody and Dustin," and just his delivery of that line and the way it segued into the video package was fucking amazing.
Oh Lord, I just remember every time they ever pitched to him, he would start talking about how you could buy Double or Nothing on all these different platforms on pay-per-view. I'm like, okay, Alex, you need to say something else.
Yeah. Anyway,
God.
did we talk? Did we see the tag title? Did we talk about the tag title match?
Not yet. So first
Okay.
we saw Candido versus Morton in a fans' choice match. And to be honest, I want to see the voting for that because that seemed a little rigged. Especially when
I
they said that Morton went out and encouraged the fans to vote for him versus Candido. Like,
Okay, okay. Had I been, and we don't know, maybe I was, maybe we have the time machine. If the alternate me that was in Johnson City voted for Ricky Morton and Chris Candido and probably stuffed the ballot.
okay. Well, first we saw the singles match that came out of it. Morton won after a lot of shenanigans, and then he sexually assaulted Tammy again. And then Tammy, to protect herself, sprayed hairspray in Morton's face. And then Morton, since he's now blinded, didn't know what was happening. And Candido laid him out with a pile driver, the dreaded pile driver. And Paul Orndorff was somewhere sitting at home going, "Hey, why is he allowed to do it and not me?"
Well, he's not. They
Uh,
said he was fined $1,000.
well, that happened here in a second. So let's go back to Chip, who's going to explain what happened next.
Illegally pile-drived in the ring by the suicide blonde Chris Candido. That cost Candido $1,000. But nevertheless, the Rock and Roll Express still was scheduled to wrestle Brian Lee and Chris Candido for the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Tag Team Championship. Well, Ricky Morton really wasn't able to do that. But here came manager Tammy Fitch insisting that since there was a signed contract, that if the Rock and Roll Express did not defend those tag team titles tonight here in Johnson City, they would have to forfeit those belts. Well, Robert Gibson, lo and behold, took things into his own hands.
All right. So, yeah, Candido gets fined $1,000, and Tammy comes to the ring and basically demands that they have a match because, well, the contracts are signed, so you got to have the match. And so Robert Gibson ran to the ring to have the match. Now they got the heat on Robert Gibson because, he's the only person there. And then Ricky Morton showed why the team is most successful when you get the heat on Morton and Gibson does the hot tag because they got the heat on Gibson. Morton ran in from the back with a neck brace on. I guess his eyes are no longer stuck together because that wasn't an issue. But anyway, he gets up on the apron, he tags himself in, and then pretty much promptly gets pinned after a hot shot.
There's a lot of people being blinded on this show right now.
I know, but at least Morton no-sold his blindness. And, and then we were told by Chip that next week we're going to see more footage of these shocking occurrences that happened in Johnson City.
Oh,
Heavily implying that more stuff happened than just this tag team title change.
I can't wait to find out.
Yes. I can't wait to see if they ever mention that show ever again outside of the tag title match.
Yeah, probably not.
Then, due to popular demand, we replayed the Thrillseekers video with the "I'll sleep when I'm dead" one.
Yeah.
I
Must
was
have been a
when they
light
say due to
taping.
popular demand. Like I want to know who is demanding that they re-air these music videos.
It was demanded by the fact that they didn't tape enough stuff.
There was a lot of replays on this show. Like typically, like we're used to seeing 35 or 40 promos on every show. This week is like they only had 10 promos, and they made up for it by let's insert a Thrillseekers video and a lengthy Tracy Bruiser Bedlam video and a Macho Man video. And then let's have Chris Hamerick cut a promo. Well, that part didn't really happen. But, you get the point here.
There was a lot of replays and a lot of music and a lot of talking on this show.
Yes. We graduate high school later on. But yeah. Yeah, when I was my high school graduation got rained out. But my elementary school graduation, they did play Pomp and Circumstance. And in my head, while walking, of course, I'm doing the Randy Savage, impression.
I said, ooh, yeah, when I got up to get my diploma.
Nice. All right, so they re-aired the angle from the end of last week with Tracy Smothers, Bruiser Bedlam, Bullet Bob Armstrong, etc. Now, last week, after that, they had a promo with Tracy and Bullet Bob. For a second, I thought they re-aired it here. I had to question it, and I had to ask you. I'm like, this was a new promo, right? Because they went to a post-match promo with Tracy and Bullet Bob backstage, as opposed to the one they did in front of the camera. Let's go backstage a week ago to Les Thatcher talking to Tracy and Bullet Bob.
Man. I'll tell you this, Les, every time I look at that man, I see a big juicy steak and I just want to eat him up and spit him out, but I can't do that because the Cornette's barring me from wrestling anymore. But I ain't going to give up my commissionership, because if I do, Smoky Mountain Wrestling will go to hell in a handbag like it almost did before.
Bob, you keep that commissioner's job, and you keep doing what you got to do, man. Every time, you've been like a second father to me, like my stepfather. Anytime in my career, whenever I needed help with anything, not just in the wrestling, in my life itself, you was always there to help me, man, and I always remember that. Y'all are like my second family, a family that I never had. Bruiser Bedlam, you're a man and nothing more. Nothing more. Bob, you keep doing what you got to do. Like I said, I want him. Bruiser Bedlam, I'm looking right at you. This is me and you. Straight up, man. I'm going to do this for myself and for the Bullet. And so help me, the South is going to rise again.
Why is Tracy doing stuff for the Bullet? He doesn't work for the company anymore.
Well, Bullet Bob is still, Bullet Bob. He's still he's a Bullet, not the Bullet.
Yes. You actually knew what I was about to say. God damn it. All right. So we get a Macho Man Randy Savage video package. This was not the UK music video Macho Man Randy Savage package. This was a different one. This was Pomp and Circumstance. Here's all the highlights. Him giving the elbow drop to Hogan, not shown with seconds later when Hogan kicked out, I'm sure. Him winning the title from DiBiase. It's like it was your I don't want to say your standard Macho Man Randy Savage video, but if you watched a WWF TV show in 93, 94, I guarantee this video package aired.
Probably. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. It's like it looked like if it was a few years later, I would assumed it was a Titantron video.
Yeah. And it segued into a promo with Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yes. Yeah.
We are 13 days away from his match with Bruiser Bedlam, and Macho Man has something to say.
Knoxville, Tennessee, May the 20th. Get ready. Coliseum's going to be on fire. Wall to wall. Macho madness. Yeah, Bruiser Bedlam, you got to understand that these are glory days for Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Yeah, and it's my biggest thrill of my entire career to walk down that aisle of the Knoxville Coliseum and to look at you eye to eye, because I'll tell you why. Yeah, let me tell you why. Bullet Bob Armstrong is a friend of mine, a blast from the past. Yeah, just because we haven't seen each other or heard from each other doesn't mean we're not tight. Yeah, and he's got a problem there, and I'm going to solve it all in one night. Knoxville, yeah, Smoky Mountain, get ready. It's going to be a magic carpet ride, and it's going to be macho madness from wall to wall and everywhere in between. And Bruiser Bedlam, you got to understand, you got to come up with some excuse. You got to tell Jim Cornette why you couldn't get it done, why the Macho Man was so much better than you, because I'm not just going to beat you, brother. I'm going to teach you a lesson. Yeah, right there in Knoxville, Tennessee, May the 20th. Mark down the date, because it's your last date of wrestling anyway.
Going to teach you a lesson, yeah. So, personally, I don't know about you, Trey, but I think it's unfair to, Macho Man has Bullet Bob Armstrong in his corner. I know Bullet Bob is up there in years. He's not the Bullet Bob Armstrong of like when he debuted. But I mean, like, he's still a badass, professional wrestler. And Bruiser Bedlam has Jim Cornette, puny mama's boy. Never been in a fight in his life, Jim Cornette in his corner. So I think it's only fair that Bruiser Bedlam should have somebody in his corner that hates Macho Man Randy Savage. And that's why I think Corny should have brought in Mr. Wrestling too.
Oh,
we could have finally had that confrontation with two and Macho Man.
Okay, so I accidentally clicked on the little notification thing on my computer, and I have very, very important breaking news. M&M's or Mars has announced the release of honey roasted peanut M&Ms.
That sounds quite good, actually.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna look and see if they're at my Walmart yet.
I'm like literally Googling this right now. M&M unveils new
Uh,
flavor. See what it is and where you can get it. Let's see here. Be in single packs, share size, and larger stand-up pouches.
uh,
Th- There's somebody out there listening to this going, "What the fuck is wrong with you two?"
so
We've been through this,
fat ass,
people.
fat ass
This is
podcast.
yes. If you've ever seen a picture of us, there's a reason we're now talking about M&Ms here on the show.
Yeah, I don't eat a lot of kale. I don't know about you.
No, kale's disgusting. So they're going to be available in select retailers, including Walmart and on MMS.com nationwide, starting in September of 2025. I don't know about you, but
Uh,
we're in September 2025, at least here in the Northeast.
they're not showing up on my Walmart yet, so I will be checking every day until they do.
Again, somebody's going to be reading the description of this going, why are they talking about honey roasted peanut M&Ms? Oh, Lord. Hey, maybe we'll get a couple listeners. They're like, oh man, I wonder what they have to say about honey roasted peanut M&Ms.
Yeah.
So that leads us to our Beat the Champ match. It is Bruiser Bedlam versus Lamb Led to Slaughter. I mean, Chris Hamerick. Les points out, and I think this is a good point, Chris Hamerick may never talk to him again. As as a thank you for drawing his name for Beat the Champ here. Did you notice Les break kayfabe during the match?
How so? What do you do?
He said that Killer Kyle has the experience advantage. I'm like, that is not the storyline. Bruiser Bedlam is not an experienced pro wrestler who's coming into Smoky Mountain Wrestling. He's a guy who was working in a shop in Detroit that he wanted to beat up people for Jim Cornette, and so Corny brought him in.
I don't know what Killer
That's.
Kyle has to do with any of this, but yeah.
Did I say Killer Kyle?
The
I,
first time. Uh,
Bruiser Bedlam, by the way, is the person with the experience advantage.
Okay, now maybe you know better than I do, but the first time I ever saw Chris Hamrick on this show was like a couple of weeks ago, and I'm pretty sure it was after Bruiser Bedlam debuted. So to the best of my knowledge, Bruiser Bedlam does have the experience advantage over Chris Hamrick.
Okay. I'm not going to argue this one with you here. Fucking pain in my ass. So, whatchamacallit, Hamrick got seconds of an advantage, possibly 3 seconds, and he ran at Bruiser, and Bruiser backdropped him over the top rope to the floor, kind of. I think Hamrick threw himself over the top rope more than Bruiser did anything to him. And so Bruiser flung him back into the ring and won with the stomach claw.
Yeah.
All right. Now,
I'm sorry.
sure,
It doesn't matter, but I just noticed that like every other one has been a referee stop, and Hamrick actually submitted to it, so he has a sensitive tummy.
I honestly didn't notice that he actually submitted. I thought it was also a referee stoppage,
No,
just a much faster referee stoppage.
He was verbally submitting or shaking his head, submitting.
Well,
nodding.
We don't know whether or not that Bruiser Bedlam ever let go of the claw, because honestly, we get a long promo coming up in a second. I'm going to play. And I was sad that when we came back from that promo, it didn't lead into Bruiser still sitting in the ring with the claw on Hamrick.
Yeah.
So Trae, I'm going to say this right now. I love this next segment. I don't know about you. I love this segment that we're about to play.
Sorry, I didn't have my notes up, and I don't know what segment. Oh, Okay, this was not Armstrong's Army in the Woods, but it was entertaining.
Yes. So let's go to Jim Cornette and Bruiser Bedlam, who are training for the match on May 20th against the Macho Man Randy Savage.
Bullet Bob Armstrong is so upset that he can't get back in the ring in Smoky Mountain Wrestling because of the injunction that I got filed against him for that conflict of interest. He can't fight his own fights anymore, so now he's gone out for the Volunteer Slam May 20th in Knoxville, and he's gotten one of the biggest stars in the history of professional wrestling, the Macho Man Randy Savage, to come to Knoxville, come to the Coliseum, and take on the bad man Bruiser Bedlam, the strongest man in the world. Well, you see, Randy Savage, Bob Armstrong, that's right up this man's alley. He likes to fight. So we're out here today. We're going around Knoxville. We're doing a little bit of training, and I want you, Bob Armstrong, and you, Randy Savage, to see exactly what you're up against, because, Savage, you may be the two-time World Wrestling Federation champion. You may have been everywhere, and you may have done everything. But when this man, Bruiser Bedlam, breaks you into little tiny pieces at the Volunteer Slam, then he's going to be the hottest thing in wrestling, and Randy Savage, you're going to join Bob Armstrong on the sidelines as a has-been. Come on, Bruiser, we got some training to do.
Okay, Jimmy.
Where is the place to train? Well, if you're here in West Knoxville, it's Total Fitness right off of Kingston Pike on Hamburg, and I'm here with Clayton Bryant and Patrick Lawson, who are here at Total Fitness to verify today that Bruiser Bedlam is going to bench press in excess of 500 pounds, prove he's the strongest man anywhere in professional wrestling. Now, your guys' weights are on the level, right?
Oh, absolutely. They're all on the level.
Absolutely? Well, then he's going to bench press over 500 pounds, and you're going to see it for yourself. Let's do it.
All right.
Randy Savage, just remember this. When you get in that ring at the Knoxville Civic Coliseum May 20th, you're in the ring with a guy that's stronger than you, stronger than anybody else in professional wrestling, and he's right now going to bench press 405 pounds just as a warm-up. Bruiser, take to it, and you guys, you better make sure you know what you're doing.
Keep an eye on the body, you two scabs.
You see, Savage, when he gets these powerful arms around you, he's going to crush you like a grape. Randy Macho Man Savage, the big World Wrestling Federation superstar. You've never been in the ring with anybody like Bruiser Bedlam, 405 pounds.
Baby food weight. What's that, girl weight? What's more on this?
You want some more? Give him some more weight. 545 pounds, Randy Savage, Bob Armstrong, that's more than both of you weigh put together. He's going to push this weight, and then he's going to come to the Knoxville Coliseum on May the 20th for the Volunteer Slam, and he's going to push both of you up in the air and throw you away like the garbage that you are. Savage, Armstrong, look at the power in this man. Bruiser Bedlam, the strongest man in professional wrestling, 545 pounds.
Savage, you ever heard of me? You're going to hear me, punk. You're nothing but a scab, and you're getting it.
In addition to weightlifting, Bruiser Bedlam has some other kind of unorthodox manner of training, because after all, Bruiser Bedlam is an unorthodox kind of guy. He's got not only the most powerful punch, but the most powerful grip in all of professional wrestling, as witnessed by the success he has when he uses the stomach claw. But we have a little demonstration for those of you non-believers, you doubters, people who say, no, Bruiser Bedlam doesn't have the best punch, doesn't have the strongest grip. Well, right here, we've got a nice board. Standard board from any kind of hardware store, and here we've got some nice big nails, metal nails. Take a look at this. Hold on here a second, Bruiser. You see that? Sharp as a razor. 3 of these, and the Bruiser, he is going to take these in his bare hand with only a washcloth, because after all, his punch is so powerful that it would drive the nail right through his hand. With only a washcloth in his hand, he's going to drive these nails right straight through that board. Leave it in there, brother. Here's another one. Try another one. What do you think that's going to feel like, Randy Savage, when a man like this puts a punch like that upside your head? Huh? Or maybe when he uses these big, powerful, massive hands with a stomach claw and rips your stinking guts out, Randy Savage. That's exactly what it's going to look like to you, brother. Randy Savage, you're going to be just like a nail driven through a board, only you're going to be standing head down and feet straight up. And you're going to be driven through the floor of that wrestling ring by Bruiser Bedlam. Now, we know, Randy Savage, we know that Bruiser Bedlam is stronger than you or Bob Armstrong or anybody else, but he's got to be tough, too, because after all, Savage, you're known to be a psychopath. You're known to be a lunatic. You're liable to go off, I don't know whether it's Vietnam or whether it's World War II or Woodstock or whatever it is, but you have blackouts, man. You're liable to take anything that's not nailed down in that Civic Coliseum and hit Bruiser Bedlam with it. So we got to find out, Bruiser, are you tough enough to let Savage hit you with his best shot?
Jimmy, I've been partying in bars. I took beers in the head. I took it all. And I got something for you, Savage. I'm going to show you right now how bad I am. I'm the toughest man around here. You're nothing but a scab punk.
Well, show him, Bruiser. Yeah!
There you go. I'm about. This is what I'm about, punk. When you come to Knoxville, I'm going to put you on your head, punk.
So now, Randy Savage, you and Bob Armstrong, you've seen what you're up against. Armstrong, I know you're so upset, you're so unhappy you can't get in the ring anymore. You can't wrestle on your own, you can't fight your own battles because of what I did. Well, it wouldn't matter if you did get in the ring, Bob Armstrong, because he'd break you in half, just like he's going to do to your hired gun, your top hand, Randy Savage, the Macho Man, whose debut in Smoky Mountain Wrestling is going to be an auspicious one, but also a brutal one, as a matter of fact, a bruising one. Because, Savage, when you come to the Volunteer Slam on May the 20th in Knoxville, you're going to be broken in half, and then in half again, and then in little bitty pieces, chewed up and spit out by the baddest wrestler in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, the baddest man in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, Bruiser Bedlam. You see, he's bigger than you, tougher than you, stronger than you, and meaner than you, Savage. He feels no mercy, no compassion. There's no love here, only hate, only anger. And Randy Savage, you and Bob Armstrong are going to learn this lesson. Not only can he whip any wrestler in the world, but he can whip any man in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. He's the Bruiser, Bruiser Bedlam, and he's the most dangerous wrestler in the world. And you're going to find out May 20th in Knoxville, Savage. Punk.
All right. So, loving this. And the best part is it ends on a free shot of Bruiser Bedlam with broken glass all over his face from the bottles he broke over his own head. It was just fucking tremendous here. They started the video at Kyle's Total Fitness. I don't know if you looked this up, but there is still a Kyle's Total Fitness in Knoxville. It may be the same place.
Oh, wow. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah, how about that?
Maybe we can get the maybe AEW can run Collision there, and we can get the rematch between Kyle Fletcher and Kyle O'Reilly.
So not at the Knoxville Smith Coliseum, at Kyle's Total Fitness.
Well, maybe the match could be do it at the Coliseum and have it sponsored by Kyle's Total Fitness.
Okay. I forgot if I said this, but I wonder if this is Killer Kyle's Total Fitness. Now, especially since this is the South, and JC has had some very not kind things to say about the actual fans who go to these shows, about whether or not they think wrestling is a shoot or not. Is it really a smart idea for your business to get its big plug by the heel manager? Like, we'll see this in OVW. Cornette is great at being we're down here at the local business located at 535 Fake Street in Springfield. Come down to it. But it's like here's the asshole heel who keeps trying to screw over the Rock and Roll Express, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to your gym, sure.
You're overthinking it.
Probably. Anyway, he mentions that Kyle is the strongest man in wrestling, and he's going to prove it by bench pressing 545 pounds. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Dino Bravo bench pressed 712 pounds on that Royal Rumble. Then I remembered, oh yeah, Dino Bravo has been dead for a year now. So, it's completely understandable that, Killer Kyle may now be the strongest man in wrestling. Now, do you remember the Brian and Vinny reviews of the Urban Wrestling Federation?
Yes.
There was one of the shows and one of the matches, I didn't look up to see which one it was, but apparently there was a wrestler who trained for his match by bench pressing 500 pounds. And that's all I can think about here. It's like, I got to get ready for my match with Randy Savage by bench pressing 500 pounds. And this was not like repetitions, like he did it once, which, hey, is impressive as fuck. But it's like, really, this is how you're training for the match, is by doing a one bench press of 545 pounds. But then it got better. Then it got better. He then goes outside and he punches nails through boards.
Yeah.
Again, legitimate nails and a legitimate board.
Legitimate nails, not Kevin Wackold. Or yeah.
This is not Kevin Wackold's. By the way, the second time on this show we've talked about that nail.
Well, I got confused at first because I was like, wait, wasn't his name Kevin Kelly? But then that was like another wrestling name, right? Before the other Kevin Kelly?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was Kevin Kelly before Kevin Kelly was Kevin Kelly. He then breaks some beer bottles over his head, and during the nails thing, you could see cars driving in the background. Yeah. I always wonder, like, what are these people thinking when they're driving by and seeing a camera crew and a shirtless bald guy, punching nails through a piece of wood?
I was wondering the same thing, honestly.
Yeah. Now, the song for the Thrillseekers video, I'll Sleep When I'm Dead, the song itself wouldn't have worked for Bruiser Bedlam here, but I think a song that includes the line, gonna live when I'm alive, I'll sleep when I'm dead, that makes a lot more sense for Bruiser Bedlam. He definitely seems like the kind of person who would sleep when he's dead.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that.
But yeah, it was not Armstrong's Army, but it was some top quality shit.
Indeed, yeah, very, very good, entertaining.
Hey, do you know FTR have 70 AEW wins over 59 different teams?
I did not know that.
Neither did I until this interesting video package that's currently airing on Dynamite. Spoiler
now,
alert.
Does that include the victory of Las Ranas over the Lucha Brothers for the AAA Tag Team titles?
They did show them standing there with the AAA Tag titles in their masks, and well, without the masks, but in the outfits.
I guess it counts then.
Yep.
Is that how when the Mighty Yankee won the Beat the Champ title, the Dirty White Boy was just the champion and nobody said anything?
Well, I mean, there's a difference there. At least FTR took off the masks to show they were FTR.
That's
Damn
true.
Yankee never took off his mask. We just, I keep calling him Damn Yankee, but he's Mike. I feel like Damn Yankee would have worked better, but oh well.
When I first read the Mighty Yankee, I'm like, that's a stupid fucking name. And the more I thought about it, I think that's fucking brilliant. I wish there would have been like a long-term like heel monster character. Like I wish that Cornette would have watched ECW and brought in 911 to be that character.
I don't know. I think 911 would have lasted a shorter amount of time than Prince Karras did.
Oh my God! Imagine that 911 versus Prince Karras. That would be a Lulu.
That would be a Lulu. No doubt. I would have been banned by Cornette a long time ago, or blocked by Cornette a long time ago. Hey, I have a friend in attendance at Dynamite tonight. In fact, I probably have more than one. It's probably littered with heels, but the one was just straight on camera behind the Big Stoke.
Big Stoke.
Well, it's the Big Stoke. All right, so let's go from there to a promo from what is theoretically our number one contender, even though he's never won a match here on the show, Jake the Snake Roberts.
One of the greatest things about being a professional wrestler is you get out there on the road and the career starts, and you look over here in the corner and there's some young kid dressing up maybe for his first match. And you look at the guy and especially in my position, you look at the guy and right off the bat, within seconds you can say, this guy's going to make it, this guy's not, because you're a great judge of talent. But the great thing about this business is when you see a kid like that sitting over in the corner and then you don't see him for, 5, 10 years. Like you, Dirty White Boy. You remember that? Where was that at? Oklahoma City or was it Dallas? It doesn't even matter, but The really frustrating thing about this business of professional wrestling is when you look over and you see that kid that's really trying, and then 10 years later you see him down the road and boom, you know you were right. You were right. This guy's not going to make it, and you haven't, Tony. Dirty White Boy. What a name, Dirty White Boy. Oh, hold it, referee. Oh, wait, hold it, Mr. Cameraman. I've got something in my eye. Oh, please. Somebody spit in your eye, Tony. Gee, that's just too bad. Of course, I can understand where you're coming from right now. You're probably looking at that down the line, that contract, and say, oh my goodness, Jake the Snake Roberts is coming to Smoky Mountain. Oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? You're gonna start making excuses. Blame it on anybody you want. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Gee, that sounds familiar. Didn't that come out of the good book? The big one. The one that means a lot to me. Should mean a lot to you. You better hold it close, because if you remember in that book, there was a serpent that started a whole lot of trouble. Your troubles have just begun. Good luck. You're gonna need it.
Trae, I hope you're sitting down for this. That was another great Jake Roberts promo.
I did not check to confirm that he was wearing the same clothes, but I'm pretty sure that he just recorded this one directly after the one that we saw last week. Which, by the way, is amazing.
Yeah.
How do you,
I
just
assume
sit
all
there?
three. Yeah, all three promos I'm sure were caught back to back to back.
Just sit there in your fucking living room and hit like home run promos like that. Okay, I'm gonna shock the people here. Jake Roberts, good promo.
You're really going on a limb on that one.
Yeah, controversial.
Yeah. I thought it was nice too that, like, obviously they told him what was going on television leading up to it too. This was not like, oh, Jake is just going to randomly cut a month of promos, just vague whatever stuff that we can censor to the show. No, it's like he was told, hey, we're doing this angle where they're going to spray the mist into White Boy's face. Can you incorporate that into a promo? And
if you
like,
didn't
sure,
know better,
why not?
If you didn't know better, you might even believe he watches the show.
Exactly. And I like that he brought up, because they're in Mid-South together. I assume, I guess they're in World Class together. I didn't know White Boy did World Class. I guess we'll find out. But yeah, it's like they were in Mid-South together at one point. So yeah, it makes total sense that he'd be like, oh yeah, I was, I looked across, in Oak City or Dallas and saw Tony Anthony. And it's like, hell's yeah, man. Hell's yeah.
Hell to the yeah.
Yeah. So I'm super excited for this Jake the Snake Roberts versus Dirty White Boy match. And we've mentioned this. They have to do these things because, Jake Roberts is not coming in for a full-time run, and neither is Macho Man Randy Savage. So everybody involved has to have a secondary feud. But man, it really seems like, at times it's like, okay, this is a little hard to get into because we're splitting our focus a little bit at times.
Yeah, I don't know. Stuff going on at least.
Exactly. So from here, we go back to the live crowd where Daryl Van Horn and Kendo the Samurai are hanging out with Bob Caudle.
With us right now, Daryl Van Horn and Kendo, his samurai.
That's right, the samurai that has the dirty white boy walking around here like Popeye. Dirty white boy, I told you had a serious price to pay for the things you did to me, and everybody has seen on television exactly what Kendo did to you. Now, I understand you have a big match coming up against a personal friend of mine, Jake the Snake Roberts, a man I really like, one of the few men in this business as depraved as I am. And I'm sure that Jake the Snake's going to strike, but you never know when Kendo will strike. You see, he's Japanese. Now, you call him a sneaky Jap, I call him smart. He's a master of deception, a master of disguise. You never know where he'll come from or what he'll do. He's just the latest in my legion of lost souls. And It's growing day by day, and it's making me feel sort of like other great men in history, like David Koresh and Jim Jones. I feel sort of omnipotent. It brings to mind the words of Silesius, who wrote, I am like God, and God like me. I am as large as God. He is as small as I. He cannot above me, nor I beneath him be. Let me tell you something, dirty white boy. When you wake up in the middle of the night screaming in a cold sweat, this is the face you're going to see. Kendo the Samurai. You never know when, you never know where. Like I said, the snake's going to strike, but Kendo will strike first.
Fans, we'll be back. Don't go away.
So, Trae, tell me, if you were asleep and you woke up and you saw the face of Tim Horner, would you start screaming?
Absolutely. I would assume that he heard the podcast and came to kill me.
Oh, Lord. This may have been the first promo that Daryl Van Horn ever cut that I truly believe the entire audience knew what the fuck he said.
Yeah, it's probably a fair assessment.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's like I'm not like I don't really jump for joy a lot on these on main event Daryl Van Horn promos because it feels very mid-cardy. Like the whole Daryl Van Horn gimmick where he's bringing in all of his freaks and whatnot. And I was like, there's no bigger freak in this promotion than Tim Horner. And we're getting, a main event push for him. It just doesn't it goes against the vibe of Smoky Mountain. It's kind of like when Ring of Honor was Cornette, that he was like, okay, the undercard can have its wacky, zany shit, but the world title match, that is the serious wrestling match on the show. And it feels that way a lot with Smoky Mountain, where the world title match or the heavyweight title match has always been serious business, and now we're getting very cartoony.
Well, I mean, we got Jake.
That's very true. That's very true. And I didn't look at the card for the Volunteer Slam, but like, I hope they did a Tracy Smothers versus Kendo the Samurai match.
I would assume that. Yeah, did neither of them have matches announced?
No.
I think so.
They did have the Volunteer Slam commercial again, but I mean it was the same matches they'd already announced last week.
Yes, they did do Kendo the Samurai versus Tracy Smothers.
Nice. See, they listened to me. They obviously heard this show, went back in time, and rebooked based on that.
This is actually this card is probably like a really good snapshot of like Smoky Mountain. Well, not okay, Kendo the Samurai versus Tracy Smothers, the Thrillseekers against Well Dunn, Brian Lee and Candido against Rock and Roll Express, Randy Savage against Bruiser Bedlam, Jake Roberts against the Dirty White Boy. That's like a pretty good card there, I think.
Indeed. And also, we talked about the show in Marietta, Georgia, that they do Jake Roberts and Bruiser Bedlam versus Randy Savage and Dirty White Boy as the main event. The opener of that show is Scott and Steve Armstrong versus the Gangstas.
Oh, that sounds baller.
Yes. This was obviously before the Gangstas officially came into the territory. But yeah, the Gangstas are on their way in, ladies and gentlemen.
Yay.
All right. So from here, we go to our main event, which is the Thrillseekers versus Timothy Well and Stephen Dunn. They are the team of Well Dunn. Trae, please don't crucify me for saying this, but I like the Rock America theme.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
And I also have good news. After at least what I complained about 3 weeks ago on the taping one of the same taping, Les and Bob officially figured out which Thrillseeker was which.
I am still not completely clear on which Well Done is which.
Mr. Well is the dark-haired gentleman.
Okay, that was
Mr.
what I
Dunn
thought.
is the blonde. Yes.
So Mr. Dark Hair is Well Done, or is done well.
Mr. Darkhair is, well, he's done. Actually, no, well, motherfucker, I hate you. Anyway, Mr. Well and Mr. Dunn are not happy with being the number 3 contenders to the tag team titles, and this is an appropriate challenge for them because the Thrillseekers are the number 2 contenders. So if they beat them, they'll move up to the number 2 spot. Obviously,
makes sense to me.
Yeah, Les gives a shout out to his friend Elliot Block, who was watching Smoky Mountain Wrestling on Wednesdays in Cincinnati on Channel 25. I'm not sure why they were airing Smoky Mountain in Cincinnati, because spoiler alert, they never go to Cincinnati.
So Les did get the TV in Cincinnati and just didn't watch it.
There you go. They got the heat on Jericho when Mr. Dunn pulled down the top rope and Jericho tumbled out of the ring. Lance got the hot tag, and okay, I marked the fuck out knowing that Lance is incredibly athletic and Lance has pops, and we know Lance has a great drop kick, and so obviously the kid can get up there. So Mr. Dunn gives him an Irish whip, and instead of taking a sharp right turn and going off the ropes, Lance runs across the ring and in one fluid motion leaps from the mat to the top rope without touching the ropes, without stumbling, nothing like that. Just one fluid motion. He jumps to the top rope and dives off with a crossbody. I popped.
I knew Lance was really good. Like, he was always really fucking smooth, but I guess I didn't really appreciate that he was always that fucking smooth, like, even just a few years in.
And I mean, like, things like this, like, Lance spent most of his career as a heel, and he knew that was a babyface move. So, like, that's partially why we never saw him do that move. Yeah. And then Chris and Lance pinned Mr. Well and Mr. Dunn with a pair of roll-ups. After the match, the dreaded water came out. Well Dunn attacked the Thrillseekers with water and towels. I bet those water and towels hurt. And the show went off the air during this hardcore angle at the end of the show.
Yeah, this was pretty decent. I mean, the Thrillseekers have a lot of Raw talent, and Well Dunn have been on Raw.
Let's say, despite all the mean things you said about Well Dunn last week, Well Dunn held their own here.
What did I say? Did I say anything mean about Well Dunn?
You did.
Okay, did I say anything mean, or did I give a very legitimate critique?
You gave a very legitimate critique. But, okay. You are not Well Dunn's number 1 fan.
Yeah, so I guess this feud must continue, which I'm sure that the card for the Volunteer Slam is already booked, but surely there will be another card very soon where they can schedule a match between the Thrillseekers and Well Dunn.
Yes. I'm like, when they were doing that thing, like, what? Like, I'm like, okay, is that actually water, or is it like, oh, it's like, I don't know, it's really ether in the water bottle or something? But nope, apparently they were attacking the Thrillseekers with water and towels.
I mean, they could have at least like done some water torture.
Maybe
casually,
like
just casually recommending you waterboard somebody.
Here in 1994, maybe they were doing the thing with like high school gym classes where you rip up the towel and hit somebody with it, but. That's not what they did here either.
Okay, do you remember when DX had Midian be the fake Mankind and do all those stupid videos, and then Mick came back and he held him prisoner, and he said he was gonna do some ancient Chinese water torture, and then he was just pouring hot coffee on it.
Poor Midian. Oh Lord! But this apparently was the last match that they taped here, and actually I shouldn't have scrolled up to read the results, because after last week's show they taped a match that's going to air in like 2 weeks on May 21st.
I think
So,
I said something about that when we started these tapings, but yeah, there is one stray match that airs in a couple of weeks.
I guess we'll see. Maybe that's the Volunteer Slam recap show. Maybe I guess. Well, actually, no, because like it's May 21st, and so the show
Yeah,
would have been put together well before that. But oh well, we'll see what happens in 2 weeks. Um,
indeed.
Anywho, that does it here for Smoky Mountain from Anderson County High School in Clinton, Tennessee. We are moving next week to scrolling. Uh, Harriman, Tennessee at Roane State Community College, which is a new venue
Right.
for us.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so 119 down, 81 to go. We still have a lot of good stuff to go, but like it's just sad that we're getting so much closer to 200.
Yeah, that means the show's gonna get a lot worse.
Yep, yes it is. But in 82 weeks, we're going to go to OVW. See, if we did this last week, we would have said in 83 weeks, and Bischoff could have tried to sue us.
That's so I Googled Harriman, Tennessee, and their tagline is the town that Temperance built. So I assume they're really fucking boring.
It sounds it. I mean, didn't like a lot of these, I guess it's also the mid 90s too, but I'm like, didn't Cornette say a lot of these Tennessee towns, they closed all businesses down on Sundays?
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
So anyway, you want to know what else is happening in the world of wrestling?
I sure do.
Atsushi Onita drew 52,000 people to Kawasaki Stadium for a match against Tenryu, where he vowed to retire if he lost. And then he lost. But don't worry, because his retirement lasted about 11 days. And in fact, he still wrestles to this day. I think I saw he wrestled like 3 weeks ago. He did try covering it up, saying that he meant that if he lost, he would consider retiring.
Onita has retired more times than both Funk brothers combined.
This might be, like, and I don't know because you'd have to really go back and check. This might be the quickest comeback from retirement ever.
And who was it? Leo Rush was like having some mental health issues and was retiring
Yes.
like every 3 days.
Yes.
I don't think he retired as many times as Onita has.
That was when me being the very nice person I am, during the one Tokyo Dome show, that he was in the junior tag title match for, I said that Leo Rush retired halfway down the ramp.
By the way, I'm glad that he is seems to be doing better, and I think that he and Action Andretti are a very good tag team.
Indeed. So Barry Windham's on again, off again relationship with WCW appears to be off again. He is still scheduled to be Ric Flair's mystery opponent coming up at Slamboree. However, he was scheduled to do some house shows this weekend that he no-showed, where he was scheduled to wrestle the Guardian Angel, or as they said on the advertising for the shows, the man who represents law and order, since he can't be the boss anymore, and they probably did the advertising before they decided on his new name and gimmick. And so instead of Barry Windham, we got Paul Orndorff in those matches with Ray Traylor. Now, I imagine, because Orndorff was not on Slamboree, I imagine he was the backup plan in case Windham no-showed that too. And I'm sitting there like, man, babyface Flair versus heel Orndorff in '94, that would have been a fucking banger.
I think 1994 Paul Orndorff was an upgrade over 1994 Barry Windham.
Oh, I mean, this was Wyndham's. Spoiler for you, he does show up at Slamboree. That was Wyndham's first match since Beach Blast '93 when he lost the NWA title to Flair, and I don't think he wrestles again for 2 years until he shows up as the Stalker.
Oh, did not realize that.
Yeah, if not quite that much, it was pretty darn close to that. And the funny thing is, like, WCW was trying to bait and switch to their damnedest because they were billing it not just as Colonel Parker's mystery man, it was a tall, blonde former world champion, which, I mean, Orndorff is kind of blonde. He's kind of tall. I don't know how they were gotten around the former world champion part, but they were definitely saying it in a way to make you believe it's going to be Hogan, even though nobody in their right mind thought it would be Hogan.
Now, see, when you said Colonel Parker and big blonde world champion, I thought Sid, but then I realized that Sid has not been a world champion yet.
Plus, he was just recently fired from this promotion and threatening to sue
I
them
know that
for
that would have been the twist. That would have been the swerve.
There you go. Especially since Rude is out because he had to pull out a house show this weekend too, which we know because he never wrestles again. But he could have been if he would have had his head on straight, he could have been a replacement for Rude.
Yeah.
Anyway, the other big news, and I had to really, I scrolled by this the first time in reading the Observer because like we kind of already knew this, but then I read the rest of the Observer and there wasn't anything else to mention. The WWF has officially informed Turner Sports that they would not be matching the contract offer for Hogan. So Hogan is officially on his way in.
And WCW, as we know it, will never exist again.
Indeed. So it's funny, like the ticker tape parade thing. I thought that was kind of cool when I was a kid. When they went Hogan through Disney with the ticker tape parade, and it's like everyone always mocks it now. And it's like to me, like I thought that felt like a big deal. The motherfucker's getting a parade, to celebrate him signing with WCW. Like I did not see what was so bad about that.
Because it's Hogan and Hogan.
I know. And oh Lord, I gotta say I'm both looking forward and not looking forward to going through that time period for the next book. And to be honest, like, and it's part of what it was a good idea for me to stop the second book in '93 because '94 really is the start of a new era, in many ways because it's like WCW gives over to Hogan, and this is when the WWF really embraces okay, we've moved on from Hogan, and here's our new stars.
Yeah, 94 is like the beginning of the new generation.
Even though, you can mock the new generation thing since they debuted the new generation commercial during King of the Ring '94, which was main evented with Jerry Lawler versus Roddy Piper. And you can also, like, if you knew that Bret Hart was like 2 or 3 years younger than him. So it wasn't like 2 or 3 younger than Hogan. So it wasn't like, oh, we're going with youth here, but we're going with new guys on top. And, this was definitely when Bret cemented his spot as the top guy. By the way, did you see the Sandman and his giant hoagie?
That sounds familiar.
Well, it's a recent picture that the Sandman posted of him carrying a 6-foot-long hoagie like a kendo stick. And
I did see that.
A few people sent it to me, and I'm like, that is a total Pennsylvania thing from the walking around with a 6-foot-long hoagie.
Absolutely.
Hopefully he didn't eat. Hopefully he didn't eat the entire hoagie himself. Hopefully he shared it with Lori and Tyler, and if he has any other kids.
He does, doesn't he? I think so.
I mean, to be fair, the only one I know of is Tyler because, Daddy's a drunk and now he worships Raven.
Yeah, I think I've heard him refer to other kids, but maybe I'm wrong.
He worships me. He worships me.
I gotta get back on the Oh My God cast if I'm ever gonna get to the show that I get to call Daddy, you're a drunk.
Daddy, you a drunk. From now on, I worship Waven. He probably didn't really lisp that much, but he's like 7 years old, so in my head he did. I'll, and I can like I know like obviously especially when I got older like why that angle was troublesome, but to me as a 12-year-old I'm like, man, that's fucking cool. They got this kid on there denouncing his father.
Yeah, I mean it is pretty fucking cool.
Oh my God, Skye Blue needs to be arrested now.
Why?
She just stapled Toni Storm in the ass.
That's probably not the worst thing that's happened to Toni Storm's ass.
Probably not. I just and I'm sure like, hey, I'm not going. Oh, there we go. I was gonna say I'm sure there weren't staples in there, but now she just stapled Toni Storm's boobs and vagina, and we zoomed in on the boobs, and they're definitely staples.
Uh, but I just happened to see Lacey Lane, the former Caden Carter, wrestled at the ROH taping. So she is very good. So I'm like, excited about that. I'm excited to see her enter the wrestling business.
Yes. Alrighty. Hey, we only went like an hour and 26 minutes today, so and Toni Storm just stapled Skye Blue in her vagina. So and her ass. Now you get her boobs, Toni, it'll be a complete match here. Um but by the way, spoiler alert for when you get to the show in like 6 weeks. They're doing a hardcore match with Toni and Skye.
I'll get
So
there.
anyway, before we finish things up, this is our third show in a row. Should we do another one tomorrow? Just because I don't think we've never done 4 shows in a row. I think this ties our record.
We haven't done a spot show in a long time.
Well, we're like WWE modern day. We don't do a lot of spot shows.
That's true. That's true.
Even though in the one spot show we promised to do like an entire month of World Championship Wrestling and then Starrcade, and then we never did it again.
Yeah, I'm very unreliable. Sorry.
If it helps, it's not like I was reaching out to you going, "Hey, do you want to do a spot show?"
Yeah, because if you did, I would have.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about before we go?
Well, I don't know. You want to talk about I was just looking at my TEW or not TEW, Pro Wrestling Sim save that I haven't looked at in a few months. And I apparently I had the Grapplers win the US tag titles, and it has a note that they won by outside interference for the Rock and Roll Express, but I can't remember who interfered.
I don't know.
Okay, I think I might have been doing something with the Rock and Roll and the Freebirds, and then I had to fire Hayes and or Gordy.
You probably had to fire half of the 4 Freebirds just for drug issues.
You know what? I brought Buddy in as like a substitute, and I ended up using him for a while just because like he was the only one wasn't fucking up.
And you were almost inspired to put Jimmy Garvin in there.
I actually did. I had essentially they were a 4-man team at times because it was kind of like I don't know somebody was injured or in Japan or suspended always.
Yeah. It's like that. It kept happening to me every time I ever booked out a pay-per-view. Somebody in the main event would always get injured.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. So anywho, I guess we can call it a day here. Before I keep talking about Dynamite. So that's gonna do it for this week's show. That's our third show this week. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you all for listening. Check out the video feed, dailymotion.com/something else podcast network. And we'll talk to you again in 7 days.
Bye.